Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, rock stars, just in case you can't tell, I am at home today. That's right, because of Hurricane Helene is on its way here to Georgia tonight. It seems that the government offices that service Georgia, a good part of Georgia, have been closed today and tomorrow, actually. So an impromptu vacation for me, albeit not the best circumstances. I hope all of my rock stars out there are going to be safe. It is coming up through Florida, so it made landfall in Florida today. Today is Thursday that I'm doing this video, even though you guys are getting it on Friday. So by tomorrow, we should have already been rocking and rolling here. The hurricane is scheduled to come straight up through Georgia and crossing over Atlanta before heading like northwest. Okay, so it's heading up, and although it is hitting Florida as a Category 4, by the time it reaches us up here in Atlanta, we expect it to be somewhere around Category 1, or maybe even downgraded to a tropical storm. Whatever the case is, we are expected a lot of rain here in Atlanta. I think they said 10 inches of rain, which is a lot in any place really for one day. It's not, even though it's raining here now, it's not really that bad. And I guess we're expecting it to get bad tonight. I hope it's not going to be too bad. I hope it's not going to, bring a lot of thunder and lightning. I've been looking at my app, my weather app, and it's just been saying like 60-70% pretty much all throughout the night of rain. So still kind of keeping fingers crossed that it won't hit in the area that I am in. We very rarely get hurricanes here in Atlanta. Every now and then a tornado will touch down in certain areas of the city. But for the most part, we usually escape that. We have had some instances, though, where it's been pretty bad. You guys remember when the CNN Center and all that was hit some years ago, downtown Atlanta. There was a tornado that went through there and just pretty much tore up the where the Phillips Arena, the CNN building, and the hotels that surround the area, like their windows were blown out and everything. And then we've had other occasions where tornadoes have come and just kind of swept through one neighborhood, tore up houses in that neighborhood. I'm hoping that none of that happens this time, and that, it's not as bad. But the rain and the wind on its own can be concerning. Because power outages, I'm praying that our power doesn't go out. But it is a lot of rain, which means a lot of trees falling, which means a lot of lines down. So hopefully, that's the biggest concern of mine is power outages and flooding. Even though we live on a hill, so we don't have flood issues where I am. We're not at the bottom, thank goodness. My neighbors may have some flooding issues if it really gets bad. I've only seen that happen a couple of times as well. But to all my rock stars out there, I hope you guys are all being safe. The news seem to be pretty worried about this one and saying that, it's going to be pretty devastating, especially for those in Florida where it's going to be hitting as a Category 4. We haven't had a strong hurricane like that in a year, at least a year, they said. So, everybody is kind of bracing themselves, battening down the hatches and trying to just be safe. I saw a lot of people getting all of their shit up out of their places of business and their homes and going somewhere where, they'll be safe. So hopefully, if any of my rock stars out there are facing that Category 4, I hope you guys are all being safe too, because Childless weather. This weather. I just want it to stop raining. I hate the rain anyway. I don't like the heat and I don't like rain. All right. People are like, it's so relaxing. And I was just like, yeah, it's really not. I mean, it's actually fine. If I don't have to be in it, I don't care. But, you know, since my animals now are terrified of thunder and lightning, it has now brought on another amount of dread because they be tripping all of a sudden. Like, it just happened in like the last year that Blue and Louie both are terrified of thunder and lightning. So there's that. But, you know, all of that to say, you know, that my rock stars out there again, hopefully if you, your family, loved ones, friends, anybody that is experiencing this, I'm hoping that everybody is safe and that by Saturday we can get on back to the regular business of things. But you know what? Shout out to whoever it is that said I didn't have to go to work today. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Anyway, y'all don't be out there in all that rain and shit if you don't have to. Stay inside, be safe. All right, you guys. So first story up that we're going to talk about today was a story that hit yesterday on social media. A lot of shit happened yesterday on social media, but in this case, we're going to be talking about Issa Rae finally addressing the drama surrounding that Emmy party back in the day when Amanda Seales was thrown out as she came as a guest, I think, of Jill Scott's. Okay. We've talked about this back when it first happened, okay? We've talked about it when Amanda Seales went on Club Shay Shay and talked about how she felt that Issa Rae had not protected her. And we know that Issa really had not really addressed this. I did never expect Issa to do that. She does not strike me as the type that is even going to give that kind of energy, attention. Issa Rae reminds me of our personalities are similar. She's a Capricorn, right? I told you guys back when we talked about the Club Shay Shay interview, I said, I can tell you 100%. I don't know Issa. I ain't never met the girl or nothing, but I can pretty much bet that she does not like Amanda Seales. For whatever reason, you know, I just had a feeling that Amanda Seales was that type of character, that type of personality that would get on her nerves. When Amanda Seales gave us the whole play-by-play of what happened at the party and how she felt that Issa Rae was supposed to protect her and was supposed to be the one that facilitated some sort of conversation so that these two people that had the ultimate problem could get it fixed. Yeah, I knew. I just knew. I was just like, I know Issa probably was just like, whatever, you know. Now, let's talk about the technicality of this. Now, if we was going to be technically looking at this this instance, this party, what happened, Amanda Seales is right. You know, Issa Rae has a production company. She has a show. At the end of the day, Amanda Seales was her employee, okay? And if we were going as if we were some HR representatives and we looked at this, you know, the fact that Issa had somebody in her employ that had a problem with another person that was in her employ, then it should have been up to Issa to get these two to try to resolve it or fix the situation so that you have not created like a hostile work environment and you have people working around each other that have problems. Okay, we know that those kind of problems can grow to bigger problems and it could even sully a whole fucking production company, right? So technically, yes, Issa should have been the one. I won't use the words protect Amanda, you know, but it should have been something that maybe she paid a little bit more attention to. Okay, that's what I say. My corporate Roxanne with a little bit of HR experience in her background. Yes, it would have been up to Issa. The regular Roxanne, the one that understands when motherfuckers get on your nerves, the ones that understands how people can rub you the wrong way, the one that understands that you probably feel like, you know, Issa probably felt like, you know, this is my girl, my publicist, you know, Amanda at one time probably was her girl, you know, and they were all working together, but, you know, knowing how Amanda could be, that personality is very strong, all right? So I am sure that Amanda has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so I can see where Issa probably was just kind of over it. So Issa Issa said in this interview, because it was talked about on the Breakfast Club yesterday. I did not realize that Jess Hilarious was still on maternity leave, but they had somebody else that was doing her Jess with the Mess segment of the show. And apparently somebody from the show was at this. So Issa has these events where she's promoting her sparkling wine, apparently. You guys know that she has a wine line. And so at her events, she invites like her friends, and they sit down and they talk in front of an audience and, you know, ask questions, and they shoot the shit, and they also drink her wine. And so at this particular event, the person that was talking was asking her, like, who would you not work with ever again in the future? And Issa, still not naming any names, all she said was just like, well, you know, people that go and talk about me on podcasts, you know, I'm not going to be working with them again. We knew that she was talking about Amanda Seales, okay? What I did not know, though, was that Issa Rae was never at that party. I don't know why that has never seemed to come out in the whole conversation surrounding this party. I just was just sort of like, what? She wasn't even there, okay? Not that that makes a big difference, because still, again, it is her company, it is her employees, you know, and all that. However, I felt like, you know what, I'm not even going to say. I think that it was definitely up to Issa to try to get this handled. It didn't get handled. They went on with the show. The show was not the same afterwards, because I think that Issa was pretty much irritated and tired of the show and the drama that was starting to get stirred up on set and stuff. This is just me assuming. But I can see how it would be, because when this happened, this Amanda getting put out of the party, this happened right after the season had ended, when we found out that Tiffany was having the baby. And that Tiffany was going through like some little mental challenges when it came to this baby coming. So we knew that the next season that was supposed to be coming up should have been more focused on Tiffany and the fact that she was trying to navigate being a new mom, and you know, they did kind of make it like that, but it still was not the same. And we knew that there was some tension on that show. That's why when Insecure finally ended, Issa was completely over it. I don't even think Issa had plans on giving us that last season that they did. I think that the fans was just creating such a hullabaloo about it that she was like, fine, we'll do one fucking final season and that is it. But she was tired. Like the last really 1.5 seasons of Insecure, I don't think Issa was really, her heart was not in it. She was really doing it for the fans and just trying to sew up the storyline. But I know, I can't say for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that girl was very relieved when the show was over. Because when she talks about Insecure in interviews, even now, it's always just sort of like, been there, done that, ain't doing it again. Okay, yeah, like over it. So, yes, while I can say that I understand completely why Issa is feeling the way that she feels about Amanda, because again, Amanda is not my cup of tea. Like, I can see how she would really cause a very uncomfortable environment. She would maybe make an uncomfortable environment even worse. I cannot say that Amanda was wrong, though. You know, it was up to Issa. Now, Issa just didn't want to deal with it. She was just sort of like, you know what, you guys are grown. Like, I think that Issa's approach was more like how you would handle friends that have a disagreement. You know what, I'm just going to put you two together. Y'all talk it out and shit, and let's move on. But in the work environment, that, you know, you can't really be that way. She was that way. Nobody brought issues to whatever HR would have been there. I mean, if they did, we never heard about it, you know. And Amanda still stayed professional. Everybody still stayed as professional as they could on screen, and still gave us the show. But it probably created an environment that was not the best. Okay, and we did see it. We felt it when we watched the show. So yeah, all that affected it. But I was not surprised. I was not surprised to find out that Issa just does not fuck with Amanda, and that she just don't have time, because that is like a true LA girl, first of all, it's a LA girl response and it is a Capricorn response. Like, it is like a, girl, I ain't got time. Okay, I just don't have time. I have done that to plenty of people. I just be like, I'm not even gonna get, you know, you ain't fixing to suck me in. I ain't getting into no big fight. I'm not arguing. Y'all know Rocky can't fight anyway. Okay, but like, I'm not doing none of that. Just fuck it. Just, I ain't fucking with you. I'm done. Okay, and that's kind of how Issa, that's the kind of personality that Issa strikes me as, you know. So, I mean, depending on who you support, who you love, you know, you'll land on either side. The technical side of me understands Amanda's point, but the for real girl, I know what you mean side of me, yeah, I definitely understand why Issa was the way that she was. But yeah, you guys, what do you guys think about that? Do you still blame Issa for, you know, not correcting that situation? Can you see where I'm coming from with this and where Amanda might have been coming from with this as well as an employee? Yeah, just let me know what exactly you think about this. But when I was watching that interview of Issa and the way that she was being and talking and everything, I was just like, girl, I mean, I guess I understand. I understand, but if that shit could have went further, like if Amanda wanted to like get HR involved and bring in higher ups and start suing and shit, she probably would have had a case. Okay. Maybe my real rock star lawyers out there, and you know, those of you that might have some entertainment industry a law degree knowing about that, maybe you guys could weigh in, and or even those that are in HR, maybe you guys can even let me know when we just really talk about a work environment, you know, who was the right and wrong one in this. I do kind of feel like it's Issa, but I am still team Issa. Y'all know I can't do Amanda. So yeah, that's it for me, you guys. Y'all let me know what you think. Next story. All right, you guys. So they say that Netflix has officially picked up the documentary that 50 Cent has always been threatening to put out about Puffy. We've heard about this documentary from 50 for years and years and years. And we've just kind of looked at it as if it was just sort of like a ongoing joke. You know, some threat from 50 Cent, but never really took it all that seriously. Because we knew that 50 has always had major issues with Puffy. But up until now, up until before the Cassie situation, you know, it just seemed like it was like, again, a running joke. After the Cassie lawsuit was filed, and then after that video was shown, 50 Cent started to make good on his threats, and we knew that there was at least a lot of footage and a lot of information that 50 Cent had gotten together, and that he probably was a little bit more serious about making this documentary than we thought. Sure enough, he did let us know that he is going to put a documentary out, and that they were just shopping around the idea to different networks. Netflix is the one that has officially picked it up, okay? So 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, they put out a statement. They said that this is a story with significant human impact. It's a complex narrative spanning decades, not just the headlines or clips seen so far. We remain steadfast in our commitment to give a voice to the voiceless and to present authentic and nuanced perspectives. While the allegations are disturbing, we urge all to remember that Sean Combs' story is not the full story of hip-hop and its culture. We aim to ensure that individual actions do not overshadow the culture's broader contributions. Okay, so you know, 50 Cent also being a part of hip hop culture and being a rap, you know, also being a rapper and also being the head of a label, and you know, all of the things that 50 Cent is also involved in. They wanted to make sure to let you know that they are shining a spotlight on Puffy and not necessarily on hip hop and all the ills and the bad things that go on behind closed doors. Okay. Interesting. Of course, I am going to watch the documentary when it comes out. I just hope that it's interesting to me that 50 Cent has taken it this far. You know, you understand when people really don't like somebody, that's one thing. But when you have gotten to a point where you feel like you have got to be putting out documentaries about that person, that's a whole nother level of not liking somebody. I mean, I'd be willing to say that 50 Cent hates Puffy. I still don't know exactly what it was that made 50 hate Puffy. Some people say the fact that his baby mother was involved with Puffy, but even that seems like it would be too, like, all this over a woman. You know, I just don't know if I can say that that's probably the reason why he's doing it. I mean, but it could be very much true, but it just seems like, you know, you in this industry, you know how women can be, you know, certain women might be for everybody, you know, go on to the highest bidder kind of thing. And, you know, yeah, you got a child by this lady, but, you know, she has a past and she probably went on to other people before, and, you know, after you. And that seemed like that would be something that you would just accept. And for him to hone in on Puffy, I just wonder what exactly did Puffy do to 50 Cent to make him focus, like be laser focused on him. Okay. I hope that nothing ever comes out about 50. I mean, I know the Daphne Joy girl, who is the baby mom, tried to say that 50 Cent did something to her, and he ended up suing her. I think he has a lawsuit against her, you know, saying like that shit was not true. And, you know, you can't even prove no shit like this. And now he has a lawsuit against her. But he seems to be going full steam ahead, ready to put this documentary out. I mean, if you're going to be putting a documentary out about Puffy, right now is the time while all of this shit is going on. But yeah, you guys, it is interesting that he is this, like, he is adamant. He is going to get that story out. And for as long as I can remember, 50 Cent has not liked Puffy. And it seemed like it might have even been before the lady, but maybe not. But yeah, what do you guys know what the issue is there? Because, child, I would really like to know. Maybe it'll come out in the documentary. Also, you guys, while we're kind of talking about Puffy, I've been trying not to make videos being just about Puffy, but it's just hard to do because there's so much Puffy shit out there. This is really more about Justin Bieber. You know, there's a lot of talk about Justin, his mental state, many of the mental obstacles that he's been going through of the last maybe 6-7 years. You know, we've known Justin Bieber to be having problems with depression and anxiety. And, you know, remember when he came out and said he wasn't singing much anymore and that he was starting to get more involved in the church, and then he was like really good friends with some guy that was involved in the church, and then it turned out that that guy was like a scammer or something, all that. And, you know, Justin Bieber had been going through a lot, and then we knew him to have all these relationship issues, you know, all of the intense scrutiny on his relationships with, you know, different women. He ended up with Hailey Bieber, who's his wife now, you know, whatever her last name was at the time, but Hailey Bieber. And, you know, they both seem to be having like mental struggles. And then we saw that Justin Bieber even was having some neurological problems with his face, and, you know, his half of his face being paralyzed and all. Like, all of that to me feels like it is something that's going on internally with him that he is trying to deal with. Okay. And when I say deal with, I mean that Justin Bieber, obviously him being a protege of Usher being a protege of Puffy, Justin Bieber was in a lot of spaces with Puffy when he was young. I mean, Justin Bieber came on scene when he was 13 years old. Okay. There is a video of Justin Bieber when he was like 15 years old, and him and Puffy, you know, were going to be hanging out together for 2 days. They about to be doing things. You know, Puffy says in the video, like, I can't tell y'all what we doing, but it's going to be every 15-year-old boy's dream. Okay. And then he asked Justin, like, what do you want to do? And he was just like, you know, let's go get some girls, you know, cause you 15 and that's what you think. And, you know, Puffy goes on to say, like, a man after my own heart, you know. And then there's a video going around of Puffy a year or so later supposedly bumping into Justin Bieber and was like, hey, we don't hang no more. Like, why, you know, where you been? You know, I don't have your number anymore. Like, all this. And Justin is kind of stuttering and kind of hemming and hawing and seeming nervous around Puffy. They said that it was actually a video that was promotional for Puffy's new group at the time, which was Dirty Money, and that he was promoting Last Train to Paris. But people bring up that video because it seemed that Justin Bieber was genuinely uncomfortable making that video, and that Puffy was just kind of like, hey boy, where you been? Now, it might not be like that, and it may have just genuinely be just a promotional video. But people remember that video and wonder if Justin Bieber was really feeling uncomfortable around Puffy because of the stuff that he had seen, you know, or experienced being around Puffy. And then there's also a video going around of Chloe. This is old face Chloe, not quite the original face of Chloe, but somewhere in between Chloe original face and the face that she has today. So some surgeries down. So I'm just trying to give you guys like a timeline of when it happened. But Chloe is talking about once when she was at a Puffy party, and it was real late at night, and that pretty much everybody, like half of the people there, was butt naked. Okay. And that she mentioned that Justin Bieber was at this party as well. All right. So all of these things and Justin Bieber's name coming up, I think it's safe to say that Justin Bieber probably did experience some things that he should not have as a child. You know, he's always said that he was not protected in the music industry, and, you know, kind of thrown to the wolves. And I think that all of that stuff that happened to Justin, you know, some people are able to process it better. I don't think that he is having a good time of processing those events, because Justin Bieber just always seems unhappy to me. Okay, we know that him and his wife have just recently had a baby, and they're saying that he's been in this happy baby bubble and trying to stay away from the headlines of what is going on in the news and all this shit that comes up that talks about Puffy. I'm sure that's probably at the back of his mind, but he's trying to enjoy his life that he has set up for himself now. But you know, probably more is going to come out about Justin Bieber. Probably more is going to come out about Usher, whether or not they were victims. Well, you know, as children, they are victims of a grown man that is bringing them around drugs and alcohol and women and shit, you know, the things that they should not be experiencing. I mean, it's a lot of people that we can say is at fault for this kind of stuff. But Puffy, definitely being at the helm, and with him already being in jail. Yeah, we're going to hear more about this, but yeah, I do feel sorry for Justin, because like I said, some people are able to process it and get out of it easier than others, you know, and it's clear that Justin Bieber has had a time with his mental stability and trying to deal with the things that have happened in his past. And so now he's really trying to protect other up and coming artists in the industry to keep them from having to experience the same thing. You know, he's always talked about Billie Eilish and saying that he wants to help her not have to deal with the shit that he dealt with. Billie Eilish seems to have a very strong family foundation. Okay, and I don't know if Justin had that same thing, but there's things that happen in your own life that makes you more susceptible to being taken advantage of, you know, and a lot of it does have to deal with family. If you don't have a strong family, you don't have parents that are going to protect you, if you don't have like a family unit that keeps you, you can very easily get caught up in that shit. And so that's why maybe Billie Eilish won't get that same kind of feel, or, you know, many of these other artists, depending on what their foundation is. But yeah, that's it. I got some more Puffy stuff, but I'm gonna leave it for later in the video, you guys. But I wanted to make sure that I told you that. Y'all let me know what you think about all that. The Netflix documentary by 50 Cent, comments about Justin Bieber, leave all that below. All right, you guys, let's just do a little politics portion here. Kamala Harris She has a campaign office in Tempe, Arizona. And for the second time in 2 weeks, you guys, the building was shot up after work hours. It was sometime around midnight. They said that the Tempe, Arizona Police Department got a call that, you know, there were some gunshots there. And when they went there, you know, the building had been shot up. Nobody was there, again, because it was after hours. However, what's more concerning is the fact that we are having way too many. First of all, I didn't even know it had been shot up for the first time. Okay, they didn't really make much fuss of it. I'm not sure if that was the media saying that they weren't going to make fuss about it, or if that was her campaign that was just like, listen, it was not that big of a deal, we won't make a big fuss about it. I don't know why, but I didn't know nothing about the first time, and now we know about the second time happening. It was not like a actual gun. It was a BB gun or a pellet gun is what they're saying shot it up. Okay. So it wasn't, even if somebody was there, pellet gun or BB gun for the most part is not going to kill you. However, the threat is more of what people need to be concerned about. It seems like people continuing to shoot up a campaign headquarters is like a sign, a signal to somebody. Okay, like, you just better be careful. We just fucking around with you with this pellet gun right now, but there's more where this came from, including actual real guns that can do actual real damage. Now, we know that Kamala Harris is going to be going to Arizona tomorrow, which is Friday. You know, I'm doing this video on Thursday. So the day that you guys get this video, Kamala Harris is scheduled to be out there campaigning because Arizona, you know, that is a state where the Democrats need to make sure that they get some support there. You know, it just feels like all this shooting leading up to her going out there, you know, that's making me concerned for her safety out there. I don't know why is it that the election now has entered into this realm where we got to be worried about the candidates getting shot, you know. This shit never happened before, but it also is reflection of the rhetoric that comes from the other side. Now, you know, I know people sometimes think that I am always blaming shit on YSAP, but he is the one that is not glorifying, but he is the one that keeps on bringing up this issue about, you know, people getting shot and, you know, how they all trying to shoot him. And, you know, and then, of course, we just got a tweet the other day that from Elon Musk that said, you know, why is Kamala and Joe not getting shot at? You know, it's just sort of like they're putting that whole... they're making it just be just the threat, or putting in the idea in some crazy person's mind, like, okay, she's gonna be out there, y'all, so if you feel like that's what you want to do, then this is gonna be your best time to do it. Shit is not cool. And I just will be glad when this election is over. Like, as we get closer and closer to election day, I get more and more nervous for her safety, because I think as the possibility of her actually winning this thing gets closer and closer, that YSAP and his base, okay, are starting to get to that desperate point where they're kind of willing to do anything, you know. And I don't want her to suffer. I don't want anybody to get shot and killed. Okay, even as much as I don't even like YSAP, you know. I mean, I ain't gonna shed a tear or nothing, but I don't want the nigga to get shot and killed. Right? I don't want that to be attached to this election, because it will just always sully, and it'll give some people that feeling of saying, like, see, they didn't want him to win. They knew that he was going to win. So this was like, I already know what comes with something like that happening. He would kind of be looked at as a martyr, and I don't want that ever to be, because he doesn't deserve that type of title, you know. So I just want everybody, so I just want the nigga to stay alive on default, you know, because I don't want that to be attached to the election. But as we get closer and closer, you guys, that shit it is concerning. It's concerning because people are crazy and people are desperate. I mean, out here in Georgia, they are making it really, they're going to make the election. I already know. That's why I'm telling the Roxstars, especially the ones that are here in Georgia, that you need to get your vote in and make sure you know where you're going to be, because they're going to make this hand counting of these ballots. It's going to be a mess. Okay, they want the hand count, and they want it, and it's going to delay things, and it's going to cause all of this question about, you know, whether it was accurate or the authenticity of it all. Like, Georgia's already setting it up to let you know that the election day is going to be a fucking mess around here. So my advice to the Georgia voters, at least, is to vote early. Make sure that you get your vote in when they open the early voting places, poll places, that you do it then, because election day, it's going to be all kind of full of fucking niggatry, you guys. It's going to be fuck shit, and they are going to try their best to keep this state, which is usually red but is now purple, okay? They're going to try to swing it on back to the red side. They don't want it to go to the Democrats, so I'm just letting you know, you guys. It's going to be a mess. But the shooting, these guns and all this, it's just something needs to happen. But we've been saying that for years, you guys, and it doesn't happen. So there's that. Also, you guys, in politics, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, he's been indicted on federal charges that he participated in a campaign contribution scheme, bribery, and other charges. So they're saying that there are 5 criminal charges that have been brought down against him, that he was receiving money from the Turkish community, Turkish businessmen and the such, actually the Turkish government, saying that they were giving him money for his campaign in exchange for like favor from him. Okay, they even said that there was a Turkish businessman that facilitated campaign fund money for him. They say that a Turkish businessman facilitated illegal campaign contributions to Adams, and in exchange, he got free or heavily discounted flight benefits on Turkish Airlines, which is owned by the Turkish government, apparently. So that's why I was saying that he's been supported by the Turkish government. But they offered, you know, free airline flights for him and his family, his people, you know, I guess his team, to travel on there, to go to all of these different foreign destinations. So, you know, him being an American and him supposed to be getting campaign donations, I guess, the right way, you know, it looks very suspect to be receiving money from foreign contributors, the way that he was getting it done. So, yeah, the feds have been keeping their eye on him, and now they have brought down the indictment. Now, Eric Adams, he maintains his innocence. He says, and I quote, "I look forward to defending myself and defending the people of this city as I've done throughout my entire professional career." Now, this is the important part. The indictment says that Adams received more than $10 million in public matching funds for campaign contributions by using so-called straw donors in the United States to hide the fact that he was accepting foreign campaign contributions. Okay, so that's the official word, was the fact that he was getting foreign campaign contributions in the tune of $10 million. Wasn't Eric Adams one of the ones that Bishop Robbery, shout out to Jay Lee, that Bishop Robbery was saying that he also was good friends with, and Eric Adams was trying to distance himself from that and saying, like, I don't really know him like that. See, now it's starting to feel like maybe all this fraudulent shit that everybody been doing out there, you know, maybe they was all connected. You know, but he's saying that he's been cooperating with the feds. They've been doing their investigation. I guess he probably was aware that an indictment was going to be coming soon. But again, he is maintaining his innocence and saying that he didn't do anything illegal. I know there are going to be people that say, you know, folks do this kind of stuff all the time, you know, and why is it that he getting caught up in it? Is it because he's a black mayor and all that? And all I can say to you is, I don't know how many fucking times I got to say it. Life is not fair. We know that black people get caught, especially when it be like government things, especially with me working for the government. I have seen a lot of improper things that happen working in government for 20 years. Okay. And it seems like it's always even though it might be many persuasions of races doing the same thing, it's the black people always get caught. The black people always get caught. Okay. And so you ought to know that you got a particular lens on you, and people are going to be watching you, and they are going to, if they see something wrong, then they gonna report it. It's gonna get shown. You gonna get in trouble. You gonna land your ass in jail. I done seen mayors and CEOs and shit go to jail, you know, for the shit that they did while they were sitting on the bench, and you don't really see much of anybody else doing it. So it happens. It's not fair, but life ain't fair. Okay? So it's not surprising that Eric has been brought up on these charges. However, he says that he is innocent, you guys. So we'll see what happens there. Child, there's a lot going on out there these days, isn't it? All right, you guys, that is it. We do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.